There's no shot. We can't do this twice. This poor person playing online. No. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So we have boss in hand. We're gonna be able to maneuver the damage with... Oh no, they milled our Spiritomb. Aw, tear. Anyway, so here we go. Let's boss. We're gonna boss it up. We're going to play the Radiant Alakazam's ability, move that damage counter out of this poor Arceus, and we're just going to swing into it again for 210. Let's plan our energy just because, right? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be covering an Arceus V-Star, and I know you've seen quite a bit of Arceus V-Star decks profiled here on the channel, but this one's a little bit different. We've been seeing an uptick in a lot of basic Pokemon and a lot of Pokemon with abilities, so we wanted to showcase how this deck works, and maybe it's the next deck you play at a League Challenge or a League Cup just at your locals or at a big event like the World Championships coming up in Yokohama, Japan. We're going to go over all the details of how this deck can actually work in the profile here, but first, a word from our sponsors.
Be sure to check out all of the sponsors of the Shuffle Squad, whether you're looking for graded cards, you're looking for singles, sealed, we have all affiliate codes with all of our great sponsors, so be sure to check them out in the description below. Thank you so much for supporting us.
Well, everyone loves a good Arceus deck, and Arceus is all over the meta currently, so we're going to talk about this interesting take on the deck and how you can play a few extra attackers alongside one of our favorite V-Stars here with one of the best V-Star abilities ever printed in the history of the game, even though V-Stars haven't been around that long. We're going to hop into all the little intricacies of how the deck can function and what your matchup spread can actually be like with this list here. We'll be able to use things like the Alolan Vulpix V-Star here for its Snow Mirage attack, which can actually prevent attacks done to you by opponents' Pokemon that have abilities. Then we'll talk about this big yellow guy here, which is Flying Pikachu VMAX. Now, Flying Pikachu VMAX is great against things like Lost Zone Box because you have Max Balloon that's going to prevent damage done to this Pokemon by basic Pokemon as well. Now, just in case you thought that damage output wasn't a thing that this deck could do, we do have the Slacking V here, which can put out with heavy impact 260 damage with its attack. That in combination with cards like Choice Belt here can put out a V-Star Pokemon in one shot. So you definitely want to be able to combine cards like this to increase that damage output. In case you wanted to increase that one more notch here in the belt to punish your opponent, we have one of my favorite combinations for an Arceus deck, which is the Hawlucha and the Radiant Alakazam combo here, where you can move damage counters around on your opponent's board and just wipe them out. A lot of the trainer cards that you'll see in this deck list here featured in the comments below are going to be common trainer cards that you see in a lot of Arceus decks or a lot of other decks in the meta, so we won't cover those, but what we do want to cover here is Lost City, because that's really what makes this deck work. If you're playing against a single prize style attacking deck, you want to make sure that those single prize Pokemon don't come back, so what better way than to put them into the Lost Zone, that way you never see them for the rest of the game. And one final attempt to help you in victory is this supporter card, played as a one-of as Volo. So Volo is able to take one of your damaged V Pokemon from the bench and then just put it right in your discard pile. You can use it with combination cards like Super Rod here and put everything back into the deck just to bring it back out again for a later turn. So that's what we've got as the main cards inside this deck. Let's see it in action in a couple of games here. Alright, let's hop into the games here and see what we're going to be playing up against first with this deck. Looks like there's not much to tell or go off of right now. That's perfectly fine. We get to flip and see, you know, hopefully it's heads here. And it is heads, so that's great. We get to go first. Yes, absolutely. We want to go first here in a matchup with Arceus. You always want to go first. Anybody that has never played an Arceus V-Star deck, please go first, or at least try to. So we don't have the greatest hand to start out with. We have no energy cards. We're not able to use our supporter, but what's nice is that we can at least get an Arceus here and maybe follow up with the Arceus V-Star. So let's see. Oh, we're playing... Okay. Okay, we can make something happen out of this. So we got Arceus, and we have the V-Guard energy here. So we'll attach that to Arc. We have a free retreater in the active. That's so great. Honestly, this went from a garbage hand to a perfect hand with the matter of drawing one card. Okay, so an Aggron, and what is that? It's a Liepard? Well, it'll evolve into a Liepard eventually. So they got the double turbo energy. They can start loading energy on the board. That's a little scary. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. That's a little scary. The Aggron, that's an interesting one for sure. I like seeing that. I think Arc decks have a lot going, and you can play pretty much anything. But now here we go. So we have a choice to make. There's so many things. Let's think of a big brain play. So we're just gonna go in. I need a double turbo energy, so we know that we need that. Let's go. Let's see what. Okay, so we got Path. We've got our Lost Cities. We have both choice belts. Okay, so we've got a choice belt. Let's see what else. So we could go with Alakazam here. So we're gonna make a weird play because they only have one Arceus on the board, right? So we have choice belt, and we had 3 double turbos in the deck. So let's try to thin our hand a little bit. Let's get the Hawlucha. Now, can we make this play happen? So what we'd have to do is Hawlucha, Alakazam, and then raw draw into a double turbo energy, and we're just gonna knock out this Arceus. So let's see. So we've got it. Okay, and we do it! Oh my god, we did it! So we're gonna move the damage counters from the bench Pokemon up. That's absolutely amazing. Okay, so let's just go in. Let's get some more Pokemon. That's awesome. Okay, so alright, we're gonna do the Arceus, and we've got the Vulpix, we've got the Pika. We do everything. Look at all this energy. That's alright, so we're just loaded up. Who cares? Nobody's knocking us out next turn. There we go. 2 prizes in the bag. Let's see. And we can draw some more cards. We've got our V-Star here for the bench for the Vulpix. We could probably try to Iono. Okay, they're putting a fighting energy. Why? I don't know. So the Aggron VMAX. Okay, so we get Iono'd out of that beautiful, beautiful hand. Let's see what they come up with. We have boss's orders, so that's always fun. I don't know why we'd need it, but, you know, we can hit into this Aggron. Okay, so this is also pretty funny, right? So there's no shot, right? There's no shot. We can't do this twice. This poor person playing online. No. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. So we have boss in hand. We're going to be able to maneuver the damage with... Oh, no, they milled our Spiritomb. Aw, tear. Anyway, so here we go. Let's boss. We're going to boss it up. We're going to play the Radiant Alakazam's ability, move that damage counter on this poor Arceus, and we're just going to swing into it again for 210. Let's plan our energy just because, right? That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. Okay, so 2 more prizes. Here we go. That's okay. So, all right, here comes this Aggron. We've got 120 damage on us already. Oh no, the V-Guard. V-Guard could be a little scary. Let's see what they're gonna follow up with. There's no way. I mean, well, now we can't really do that because we have no way of picking Hawlucha up. I will say if they can't get a V-Star and then they Iono us into a boss, I mean, that's just bad luck at that point. Okay, so there's an Iono. We can attack into this Aggron. Okay, so there goes one of our our V-Guard energies. So yeah, Lost City seems fine. Let's just, yeah, we're gonna Iono 2 cards, who cares? Okay, that's also fine. So now we can evolve into a Pikachu VMAX next turn or a Vulpix V-Star. It doesn't matter. So let's just go ahead. If we don't need the energy cards anymore, we're able to attack 180 damage on the Aggron. Again, if they're not able to get a V-Star and we get one more card, we can... Oh no, never mind. Well, we could have gotten a Lumineon for a boss again after we move the damage. Use our third boss just for game. We do have the Slacking, which could have been funny if we used it, but we don't need it. Okay, so there's that, and now we're in a tight spot because we have some squishy Pokemon like this Alolan Vulpix V into this big giant Pokemon, neither of which are really able to hit it for enough damage. But this would be funny if it works. If I can hit Fly here and then they can't attack me next turn, that would be funny. So actually, let's move damage counters. Let's move some damage counters maybe, and then hit Fly. So Fly here. Let's just Fly. Let's see what happens. We're not going to move any damage. And it works. It works again. Our luck is just... It's crazy right now. Okay, so there is their V-Star. Now they're going to be able to Starbirth. What they're going to get, I have no idea. But they can't hit into this Pikachu, which is hilarious right now. So not being able to hit into Pikachu is so funny. We really just need a final boss here, so we need to draw a draw supporter next turn to dig deeper into the deck, or an Ultra Ball, because chances are they're going to hit a switch here off this Starbirth and an energy card, so they can start swinging into our Pokemon, loading up theirs. Now this Aggron can get pretty scary because it can hit 270 damage. I don't know why I stalled there, but 270 damage. And there's the Alakazam. That can move some things around. So there's the path to the peak. I think that they're just trying to stall out and they hit into us. Just probably trying to load up on some energy cards onto that Aggron. Path is going to shut off the attack from our Vulpix V-Star. So we'll get that out of the way with this Lost City because it really doesn't matter. Let's move some damage counters now this turn. To the active, so we can just keep some damage on the board in case our Fly doesn't work again. We're going to just roll the dice to see if Fly works. I don't think it even matters because if they knock us out with their Aggron VMAX on the bench, then our Vulpix is live. We move damage counters to the Aggron, we attack it. With Choice Belt in hand, we win. So we are setting up a checkmate scenario here. Okay, so they have some cards. Okay, so we're going down to 2 again. Let's see what we draw into. Okay, so Iono is also a lie sometimes. So we have the Pikachu not going down because of the double turbo on the Arceus V-Star. So we didn't let them set up for the first 2 turns of the game. And now what we're able to do is we could just research this Rope Away. And most likely the next card that we draw here. And we'll see what we get. So we've got another Lost City. That doesn't matter this turn. I think we just rip this after we move some damage counters. We don't care. Let's try to swing into this arc as much as we can. Move damage counters. Okay, so we have the Pikachu. And we can Ultra Ball away some things. Let's just go Ultra Ball away the VMAX. And the double turbo, we'll never need that for the rest of the game. Let's just get our VMAX and V-Star ready to roll. So we've got the V-Star we'll put on the bench. Now we can hit higher damage output. We're going to swing for just 140 into this arc. And, I'm sorry, it's 160 with the Snow Mirage. I'm so used to the double turbo energy reducing the damage. So now we only need to move damage for 3 more turns from the Aggron to the Arceus V-Star, and that's just going to knock it out. So again, putting them back into that checkmate scenario, if they bring up the Aggron to knock us out here, then they are going to put themselves in a bad spot because we can move the damage back to the Aggron VMAX and then hit it again. And they're going to boss us here. I don't know their game plan. I think that they're just going to try to take 3 prize cards because they know the Arceus can't hit the Vulpix at all. But again, they're just in such a bad spot. Let's see what they do here. Here, take 3 prize cards. Okay, so they don't take it, and we win the game. All right, let's take a look at what we're going to be up against in this game here and see how things are actually going to play out. So it looks like we have a Psychic Coin. We're going to hope that it's not Mew. We only have Spiritomb and Path in the deck, and one of each of them. So Mew might be a little interesting to play against, I guess. They don't attack really with basic Pokemon or Pokemon that have abilities most of the time. So our deck kind of shuts right off to a Mew VMAX list. Do we want to go first again? The answer is going to be always yes here, I think. You never really want to go second with a deck like this. We're going to go ahead and say yes. And we get to go first. Hopefully we get Arceus and Energy. That's the optimal turn 1, right? And there's Arceus V-Star. Okay, we both mulligan. That's great. Let's take a look here. So we've got the Arceus in hand. Oh, we're playing against Gardevoir, so that's great. Our deck functions very well against a Gardevoir EX, so awesome. Let's take a look and see what else. So we have Energy in hand, but no Arceus V-Star. We do have a Judge, so we might be able to use that Judge to our advantage later in the game. We do have 2 Lost Cities, so against a Gardevoir deck, that's really what you want to use. You want to make sure that all of their Gardevoirs and Kirlia and Ralts, more importantly, there's a Ralt start. I want to make sure that they make it to the Lost Zone. Alright, double Turbo Energy here is really good. Helps us set up, so now we just need a way of getting an Arceus V-Star for the following turn. Let's see what they follow up on our opponent's side with. There's the Fog Crystal for the Mew. Nice gold Mew. That's very cute. I like it. We've got the basic energy attached. Pretty common. They're going to search for a Battle VIP pass here. That's normally what you should be searching for if you are playing Gardevoir EX on the first turn. And they found a level ball. Use the Ultra Ball. Get some more energy cards into the discard pile. There's the Radiant Greninja. I'm trying to dig a little bit deeper. They still have enough energy cards in their hand. There's the Battle VIP pass, of course. And they're going to be able to set up their whole board state against my lonely Arceus on this side. The Arceus V really... Okay, so they have 4 energy cards in their discard pile. Not looking great for us because they could follow up. Generally, Gardevoir decks are going to play that higher count of rare candy in there so they can get the turn 2 Gardevoir EX into play. So 4 energy in discard pile and 1 now on the board. They're able to attach next turn. So we did draw right into the Ultra Ball. The deck is cracked, I tell you. So I think the decision here are going to be the energy cards, and that's really what we want to put into the discard. We need the other cards in the deck right now, so we can go ahead. Let's take a look. Pokemon are there. We do have all of our energy left, so it wasn't a mistake to do that. This is the first time we're getting a read on what's inside the deck too, so we're perfectly fine here. We can use this boss in our hand to get one of the Ralts into the Lost Zone because we have both Lost Cities. If they throw down a counter stadium, we'll be able to do that again the following turn. So we're going to do V-Guard Energy because that Zacian is looking pretty scary, and now we're able to attack. We have enough energy to load up one other Pokemon. So I think here we really want to intimidate them with the Vulpix because from what I'm seeing there, Ralts that can stop the Vulpix V-Star attack isn't out in place. We're going to just put this Ralts down, put it out of its misery, and then we're going to start loading up this Alolan Vulpix V sitting here on the bench. And maybe we could Judge next turn, get into the V-Star, and really just start swinging into them. See what happens here. So we got, okay, Iono's good too. We'll be able to draw 5 cards. Unfortunately, our opponent gets to draw 6, so this is not necessarily the time when we want to use Iono. But we can still use it, get one more card over the Judge. All right, so they're putting Mew back in the active spot. Let's see. See what they respond with. Are they going to get the turn 2 Gardevoir EX here? More digging for the energy cards. No way other than the Radiant Greninja there to just get deeper into the deck. So they find another level ball with Mew. They're able to retreat because I know that they have energy now. They have a lot in the discard pile, so I'm not exactly sure. They could just come up and swing into this Arceus V-Star and blow it up. That's a possibility. Okay, we got Fish down too. So putting a liability on their board. So now if we're doing a prize map here, we've already knocked out one Pokemon, right? They have two prize Pokemon, so there's 4 prizes sitting on their bench, and then we really just have to take a small knockout. And here is even more prize cards, so we can really just play into this. We have so many ways of modifying damage, especially because they have 2 Vs in play. So we have to keep that in our mind while we're looking at all the cards that we have here and what our next plays are going to be. Now they're going to have damage on their Pokemon, so I think that that's another thing that we have to keep in mind, is that we can use our Radiant Alakazam here and move damage counters around in our favor, which they don't always play into as a Gardevoir player. They don't see that, you know, maybe it's an Arceus deck. Does it have Alakazam? Does it not have Alakazam? Are they going to move my damage counters for me? Puts them in a bad situation. I've been in spots where you're locking up a Gardevoir that doesn't have the energy on like this opponent does. So we're going to Iono here. They didn't bump our path, or not our path, rather, our Lost City. They didn't bump our Lost City. All right, so we're going to go in. Let's just get Pika loaded up. We do have Alakazam, and I don't think we need it yet. Let's put those energy cards that we got rid of back in. Hopefully we don't get punished. They don't boss up our Vulpix here. And we are just going to swing into this Gardevoir. That's totally fine. Now we're going to be able to load up Pika. And we have the research in hand, so we'll be able to see 7 new cards. We don't need the Arceus. We don't need the double turbo. That's just going to lower our damage output for that energy card. So we don't need that in this matchup at all. We want to have the highest damage output as possible. So I think research is the only good card in our hand right now, and that's perfectly fine because we get to dump the other 2. I think boss would be really cool here the next turn since the Lost City's still in play. And let's see what else they load up. So now they have a heavily damaged Gardevoir EX that we're potentially going to put into the Lost Zone. They have a Zacian that if it comes up, we still have Pokemon that can hit into the Zacian and get pretty close, if not all the way to knocking it out as a follow-up turn. And then there is a Lightning Weak Pokemon that is worth 2 prizes on their bench. So it's not looking great for them. Also, the squishy Pokemon like the Lightning Weak Greninja that's sitting there, and the Mew that's only got 40 hit points left. So everything here is fine. I think that we're doing just fine. They're kind of struggling right now. They're just planting energy everywhere as follow-up turns. And I think that they're just trying to map out their 6 prizes. So they're going to be able to take one. Okay, the Judge, that was a great play on our opponent's side. So we get to see the Judge here. We do get energy cards and our own Iono. And we can even put Hawlucha down. Okay, so Temple of Sinnoh doesn't make sense aside from getting rid of our Lost City. I don't think that we really even care. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put Pikachu up in front. And if we remember anything from the prior game, it's that this has the 0 retreat cost. So we can pivot this out and it doesn't matter. And we draw into the VMAX. So let's put Hawlucha down because we can use that later. And we're just going to move the damage around here. It could spell disaster for us later on, but we also want less cards in the deck, being as we do play a heavy Iono count. We don't want to, you know, switch the way our deck is set up. And as you can see, we did not get punished from that, drawing the 5 cards. I'm going to switch right into this so they can't attack into it later. And let's start moving some damage counters around. So we're going to put the Alakazam down again, move some damage. I think what I'm going to try to do is just move damage. Let's check. Zacian needs 20 more for me to take this 2 prize knockout. So we're just going to move it from the Mew because Mew doesn't matter in this matchup. We can just boss that up later. We do have an Ultra Ball for a Lumineon in our deck, so we can grab Boss's Orders and just get our last either 1 or 2 prizes that we're going to need after this next knockout here. So I think if they're smart, they'll probably just let that Gardevoir sit on the bench there and let us take this knockout on the Mew, hoping that we don't have the boss. Maybe they can find a way to knock out our VMAX for 3 prize cards and then one of our smaller Pokemon to follow up. That should be their prize map here. How they're going to do that, I'm not exactly sure. Hitting 310 is pretty difficult if you don't have the reversal energy in hand, and it looks like they're trying to dig for that. So they got the Pal Pad, and let's see what they go back in with. I could see them using some sort of support card. So a Roxanne. I don't like Roxanne here, but I understand why they're using it, because they just need to see different cards. Roxanne doesn't necessarily help them because they're not seeing the cards that are potentially on the top of their deck. It just shuffles everything back together. They don't have enough thinning options that they can get rid of that. And everything on the board potentially is going to have a ability that can hit into my Vulpix. So they don't play Rope generally in a Gardevoir list. They are just trying to dig for their boss's orders, I think, the next turn. So we'll see how that goes for them. Let's see if it pays off. So they're going to put some... Okay, they put the energy on the Mew. It is now going to have 10 hit points left. And if you notice, they're putting more damage on their Gardevoir EX on the bench. We can just move that around, and maybe we'll find a way to get an Ultra Ball. If we look at the deck here, let's take a look. So we only have 1 Ultra Ball used. That means that there are 3 left in deck, plus a raw draw of Lumineon. We do have plenty of draw supporters. Okay, so we didn't draw anything. So forget what I said. Let's just move some damage. Let's see what we draw off this prize card here. We only need the 1. We don't want to go overkill. That's totally fine. We've got an Arceus V-Star. Let's see what they send up here. So Greninja, I think we just take the knockout here. Let's just see what they come back with. Either way, we can try to snuff out their last remaining Pokemon, and we'll go from there. So we have nothing in our hand, but they also can't attack us. Let's see what they put back with Pelpad. It never really shows you, I feel like, on PTCG Live. It doesn't show you what trainer cards go back in, or supporter cards with Pelpad. But we'll just take it with a grain of salt here. We're able to play online Pokemon, so be thankful enough for that. So there's a worker. They're still trying to dig for that boss's orders, maybe to stick one of our Pokemon boss stall at least, while they're able to load up. But I still just don't see things happening for them. They could take out my Alakazam potentially, but again, we only have 1 prize card left, so I don't know what they're going to try to do. It looks like they're trying to just load up this Gardevoir, and because it's not damaged yet, just kind of sit there. Maybe they're realizing now, hey, we can't attack this Alolan Vulpix, so what are we going to do here? And just leave it up into the active spot until they can find their baby Gardevoir and maybe take out my VMAX. So, okay, so here's a research. We do have to dig here, so it's unfortunate that we have to go in, and we get a rope. So really, we can just rope something up into the active. Anything here, we're going to be able to KO. We have a free retreat attacker on the bench loaded up. So let's see what else they can go for. Pretty much nothing. Oh, and there's the concession. And there you have it. There was the Flying Pikachu VMAX and the Alolan Vulpix V-Star, just putting out everything that they needed in those matchups. We got to see how the deck was able to function in some of the most high-performing decks out there, which are Gardevoir EX, and we also got to see it against a different Arceus deck. So you're going to see those decks out on the playfield, whether it's an online tournament or in real life. You're definitely going to want to know how to play these cards, and you saw some of the combinations that can happen. Now, if you had any questions on the list itself, again, that is going to be down in the comments below of this video, so you can check that out, copy and paste it into PTCG Live if you want to test it out yourself, or you can hop over to our Patreon account and talk to us about the deck in the Discord as long as you are a patron. We'll check you out next time here on the Shuffle Squad. Signing off, this is PJ. Keep on shuffling.
You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.